This is a corporate social impact initiative that is being supported by some of the US's largest enterprises. The program is all about bringing together and encouraging leaders to really invest in the future workforce by creating meaningful pathways into their organisations for some of the nation's most underserved communities, including GED graduates. And there are numerous ways that we are approaching this and supporting these outcomes in market. But one of the approaches that we're going to delve into a little deeper today is supporting GED graduates to build sought after technology skills so that they can potentially step into some of the entry level tech roles with leading employers like those on the call today. So in terms of the agenda, we are going to keep our session really focused and short. We should be done within the 30 minutes, so you'll get your time back. And in terms of what we're going to run through, we are very lucky to have the president of the GED testing service, Vicky Green, here with us today. And Vicky's going to kick things off shortly by talking about where and why we started this program, who we're supporting and why it's really important and why we need people to get on board and support the initiative. I'll then step you through one of those programs that we're running with employers that links doing social good with getting great people into your organisation. And finally, we will introduce you to a couple of the individuals whose lives have been changed through the initiative. So on that note, I will pass it over to you, Vicky.
Yes, well, thank you. Can you hear me okay? Everyone can hear me? Am I not on mute, right? You can hear me. Okay, yeah, good. It's good to be here. Thanks for doing this, Sia. So as Sia mentioned, I lead the GED organization. And for many of you, you may, all of us have heard the GED. Everyone knows what the GED is. But I think what the gap in is really understanding who the GED learner is and what are the key attributes that we've seen and what I've seen over my 12 years of being at GED. And one of the key attributes that we know about our GED learners is that GED learners are those learners who really the K through 12 system really struggled to find out what they needed in order to succeed in the K through 12 system. And so GED learners are learners who left high school for lots of different reasons, and we know those reasons stem from bullying to anxiety, depression, life circumstances. Many of our learners are learners who mom and dad may have passed away, have cancer, had to go back to work. And then I think what we also know is that life gets in the way for a lot of our learners, and they may not learn the way that the K through 12 system wanted them to. But the astounding statistics about GED learners is that we have 40 million adults out there walking around without a high school diploma. And what we know about those 40 million adults is about 52% of those learners identify as Black and Brown. And we also know that over half of our learners want to go on to post-secondary. So we know that once they earn that GED credential, they want to go on to an employer and to someone that's going to invest in their future, in their well-being, in their education. And we also know that the number one reason that someone earns their GED is because they want to make their family and friends proud. And why that is so important is we also know that earning your GED is also the means to changing the future for generations to come. And so now these parents are showing their children what education can do to open up doors. And one of the things that's been very important to me as the leader of the GED organization is that we look at the GED as a means for the start of a career path. And so we our priority is always to get to the 40 million adults every year. We know that we have 700,000 that sign up every year to earn their GED, and we have 150,000 graduates. And what we wanted to do is how can we start working with the graduates and started talking about career pathways. And that's why I wanted to enter this relationship with WithYouWithMe, is that we wanted and recognized that the market is looking for technology talent. We know that technology talent at lots of different areas and lots of different levels is lacking. And here we have this captive audience of learners that is saying, I want a future in technology, or I want a future career, or I want to work with an organization that's going to invest in me and my health and well-being. And we started a partnership with WithYouWithMe a little over a year ago. And the intent of that partnership was that we could offer every GED graduate the ability to take technology courses and technology training in order to be prepared for a technology job at the end of it. And so With You, With Me and GED partnered so that the minute that a GED learner earns their credential, then they would enter into With You, With Me's training, which is 1,500 hours of training free to the learner. And then our goal would be then to place them with an employer, such as yourself, after they've gone through the training. For me, the With You, With Me partnership was really, really important. Anytime we at GED are talking to organizations, we want to make sure that we're partnering with organizations that care about the learner as much as we do. And that means, are we making sure that the learner is at the center of what they're doing? Is the learner being provided resources if they have questions or they get stuck along the way? And we really valued our relationship with You, With Me, given their background and how they serve up technology courses to learners. So next, if there's not any questions, I'll go into how do we get to the 1,000 futures and why are we here and how are we doing this? Sia and I, one of the things that we recognized is that we wanted to create this environment of an ecosystem for our learners to, again, be supported on and create an environment where we had organizations that would accept our learners in and understand who our learners are. And so we created this 1,000 Futures to say, how can we get organizations to sign up and be part of this initiative and really invest in the employees and into the learners? And we thought before we jumped into the logistics of it, that it would be great for you guys to see a little bit of who our learners are, what are their backgrounds, and then what are their goals and aspirations. So the first example is maybe we'll go right to the video. I think I talked to some of this, the partnership. But this learner that you'll hear from here, she's got a fantastic story. And I think what it will do is give you a preview into what our learners look like and what they're looking for in employers and in training and ultimately a job. So Sia, I'll turn over to you to maybe start that.
Hello everyone, my name is Shobha Nahar. I am from Queens, New York. I graduated with my GED in 2017 and recently I completed my Bachelor of Science in Social Work from NYU in the fall of 2023. I came from a culture where women's higher education is often discouraged by their partner. I am a resilient survivor of domestic violence, and despite the trauma and hardships I experienced, I use them as fuel to drive my determination to succeed. My journey back to education started after I was forced into marriage at the age of 13, leading to a big gap in my schooling. With the support of educational institutions, law enforcement, and the family court, I earned my associate degree in human service in mental health from LaGuardia Community College and transferred to NYU with a CC Toppy scholarship in 2021. Despite facing challenges such as depression, anxiety, and panic attacks during my contested divorce process, my education empowered me to become an independent woman, granting me the freedom to soar from a cage. One of my proudest moments was when I represented my class at the NYU Silver School of Social Work on my graduation day in May 2024. Now I am excited to share that I will be starting my Master's in Social Work program in this fall semester. This journey begins with my GED, which opened the door for me to the educational world. Thank you for listening to my story. Remember, it is not about how you start, but how you finish. If I can overcome my challenges and achieve my goals, so can you. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Halima. I was born in Morocco, but I spent most of time in my life in Brussels, Belgium. In 2022, I decided to make a big move to New York. I was determined to build a new life for myself. I started out working as a French tutor. I became certified nurse aide, CNA. Then everything changed. I sustained a severe knee injury And my doctor told me I could never work again or go back to my old work. I decided, to pivot the career in IT, and I found passion in cybersecurity. Finally, in January 2024, I passed my GED. What helped me immensely, it was using the resources available in the GED website. When I passed my GED, it opened new doors for me. I was admitted to the Western Governor University, and it even helped me to secure an apprentice in a big tech company. Thank you for listening my story. I hope I will inspire people, to keep pushing forward no matter what challenge you face. So thank you for listening my story.
Sia, do you want me to jump into the GED graduate that we recently hired?
Yes, that would be wonderful, Vicky. Thank you.
Okay, good. So one of the things that is so exciting for me, and actually Sia too, since she's been engaged in this process, is that we've been able to watch once a GED graduate earns their degree, enter the With You With Me program. So we basically what happens is they earn their credential and then they go on and take an aptitude test. And the aptitude test will give their likelihood of going on and being successful in a technology career, and it'll give them some guidance. And what we've seen is that a lot of learners, once they enter the technology training, their eyes are open to a career in technology. And what's beautiful about that is not all of these learners may have had a mom or dad or uncle or aunt that's been in the technology field. So a lot of this is new for them. They've heard of technology careers, they've seen people in technology careers on TV, or they've heard AI, they've heard all this technology, but they don't necessarily equate that to what that means for them. And so watching learners enter this training and then really getting excited as to understanding the language, understanding their skill set and how it may fit into a job, and then the realization that they're able to go on and complete this training and then land a job at the end has been really really the things that makes all of us get up every day. And we recently at GED were talking to one of the GED graduates that had gone through the training. His name was Roger, and he loved the training. You'll see some videos. We'll even send you some videos on Roger. Well, Roger impressed all of us at GED so much that we decided to hire Roger, and he is now part of the GED team, and he is excelling. He recently came to our GED conference. He's been talking to educators, and he's out there talking about how powerful, or not only earning his GED has been, but then going on to With You With Me training and now landing into an employer again that we're continuing to invest in, and seeing him soar. So it's been a lot of fun to not only talk about this program, but actually to see it live and then to have an employee within the GED organization.
Absolutely, Vicky. Completely agree with you, and appreciate that introduction and the detail. What I might do is take you through now some of the detail of the program Vicky's been talking to, so that you can understand how this kind of approach might work for your organisation if you are curious to get involved. I do just quickly want to provide a little bit of context. I know Vicky mentioned that the partnership, or one of the founding partners of this initiative, is With You With Me. And that's the company that I'm from. So a little bit on us. We are a social impact organisation that started in Australia around 8 years ago, but we now have operations in the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom. And we're all about solving underemployment, which is when someone may have a job, but they're certainly not working in a job that meets their full potential. And we see underemployment everywhere in society and in most workplaces, but most commonly it's in those groups of individuals who perhaps didn't follow that traditional K-12 path. Life circumstances often prevents that, and that is what brought us together with the GED testing service. So we're really focused on trying to solve those two core societal challenges. One being, as Vicky mentioned, this digital skills crisis that we hear about all the time, and the fact that organisations are constantly needing technology-based capabilities, and we know that that's just going to keep growing. And the other was improving the outlook of those who are underemployed by connecting those two ecosystems together. And the way that we thought we'd do that is if we can make those GED graduates technologists, then we're giving them the path to a future-proof career with great organisations who care about doing good. So the way that we do that is we have a technology platform that draws on an approach that's honed by the country's largest employer, which is the military, the US military. And we decided if the military can use aptitude testing, skills mapping, and specialised training to get ordinary people doing extraordinary things, then so too can other organisations. So that's what our technology platform does. It tests an individual to uncover their natural strengths or their propensity to excel in high demand tech roles. And then we provide them with the training to get them proficient, to be stepping into a role, even if they've had no previous exposure to it before. And then we deploy them into like-minded organisations who have that need for tech capability. And that model has proven so successful that we had demand to apply the same approach to organisations' own internal workforces. So we also do a lot of work with organisations who are wanting to set up their own tech apprentice programs for their employees who might be in lower level roles or might be, in the instance of retailers or food companies working in the storefront, giving them the opportunity to upskill and move into meaningful, sustainable careers at corporate. But what I will focus on today is that aspect that Vicky spoke about first, which is that tech apprenticeship program and how it works. So we currently have more than 3,500 GED grads on our platform and upskilling in some of the high demand roles that organisations are asking us to train for. And you can see some of those there on the screen. We're looking at roles like service desk, project management, data analytics, cybersecurity, all of those roles that organisations know that they need and often just go to market through traditional channels, we believe present an opportunity to really diversify the workforce and create alternative career pathways in. All of that training is accredited by the American National Standards Institute. And we're also skilling these individuals to a globally recognised skills framework so that there can be real clarity and understanding that you are getting someone who is skilled to a level that is consistent with that job position you're looking for. Which we find is really important because one of the differences to this program and something we're asking organisations to do is to really consider employing based on skills. And the reason that's important is that traditionally the employment ecosystem has relied on college degrees or resumes, CVs, in terms of understanding if someone is suited for a position. And we know that those tools, while very effective for some, keep large numbers of our workforce locked out, and particularly some of these underrepresented individuals that we've spoken about. So we're very eager to work with organisations to help them understand the value and the power of hiring for skills as opposed to that previous experience or college credential, as a means of understanding that you will get the capability that you need, but you are opening up that all-important pathway for someone who may need it the most. So in terms of how it works, I do want to highlight, and I touched on it before with the platform approach, but what we're really doing that we think is different and sets this model apart from other similar train, hire, deploy models that might exist is that assessment piece at the start. So we know that organisations are changing the way they hire and that traditional approach I mentioned to support this program. And we want to make sure that they have the confidence that they've got data to back up that decision. So we do have a comprehensive suite of assessments that categorically shows you the skills someone has and the skills that they're going to excel at based on that cognitive ability and learning preference assessment. And that's a really good indicator as to the likely success in role, how much that individual will enjoy the role, but also the success of their employee fit within your organisation. Because there are a combination of those skills assessments, but there's also a lot of psychometrics. So you can understand if the person that you're going to get in your organisation is a really good cultural fit. And what we have seen with our GED graduate pool that is on our system being assessed is the way they're scoring both through aptitude and through the psychometrics is presenting ideal candidate solutions for many organisations in the sense that their abstract reasoning scores are higher than your average college graduate based off the challenging circumstances they've likely had to overcome. But they're also coming high on the scale for things like grit, determination, resilience, which we know are qualities that employers are all looking for when trying to bring someone into the organisation. So by providing organisations with this view of the individual, the idea here is to really understand that it is a data-led approach and that you can have confidence in applying the model to, you know, shift that needle within your own organisation to create those opportunities for people who need. Excuse me, my throat's cutting out a little bit. So in terms of the typical approach that we follow with employers, as I mentioned, we already have a large volume of GED graduates upskilling through the program. So that piece is already in motion, and they are undertaking that self-paced online training. They have career coaches who help them through that to motivate them and to give them feedback and assessments. Once an employer has decided they'd like to join this program and potentially pilot hiring a GED graduate as a technologist, we work with them to understand specifically what skills that they would need for those positions. We create essentially a skills sheet, and that will also have a clear outline of the training that will be undertaken so that organisations can make sure the individual they're getting has the specific skills that they need. And from there, we will do cultural fit interviews so that you can make sure that you're getting someone who aligns with the feeling and the organizational culture of your organization. And then the final step is getting them to do a technical demonstration. So this is how we sort of risk-proof the process in terms of working with our employers to create a technical demonstration that reflects something that individual would be expected to do in role. And almost as part of that job interview process, that individual would either come into your office or screen share to show you their tech skills in action, which is a really powerful way of ensuring you're getting the capability you need, but also working against that traditional sort of CV-based approach and moving to that skills-based model that we know many organisations are keen on. The person then deploys into your organisation, and we typically work off a temp to perm contracting model, again, to give you confidence that the person you're getting has the skills, is continuing to build skills and evolve in their role, so that your organisation can feel really comfortable it's a good fit. And then at the end of that 12 months or whatever contract period it is that works for you, the idea is that that person would ultimately transition to a full-time employee, because we are wanting to establish those sustainable, meaningful pathways for individuals. But of course, there are other options, and if contracting suits best, that can be maintained as well. Now, I've touched on most of this before. I will circulate the deck after this session just so that you've got it. But this kind of just reiterates those key points in terms of how it would work for organisations. But as Vicky and I both mentioned at the start, this is just one of those programs that we are running to support GED graduates into meaningful careers with organisations. We know that many organisations have a lot of individuals who either don't have their GED or they're intending to study for their GED. So another pathway is supporting those individuals while they're employees within your organisation to build skills that might either see them move into a higher up position, or at the very least, just build some solid digital literacy around things like cyber and AI that we know are an asset to many workforces. So what I might do before handing back to Vicky to run through next steps is just quickly share with you a couple of the stories of those who have gone through this program. We have a number of individuals already working as technologists through the 1000 Futures Initiative, which is great. Vicky mentioned the first one earlier, which is Rogelio, who was originally from Mexico, came to the States and just could not find employment, found out about the GED through watching Orange is the New Black, which I love that story. It was a great show, and decided to take his GED, but was still really struggling to then build a meaningful career afterwards. So he went through the training at WithYouWithMe and was fortunate enough to very quickly be snapped up by Vicky and the team at GED. And I love that story because it really is, leading by example, but also the value that Roger's been able to bring to the GED not only sits in those technical skills he has, but it's in that incredible experience that he's had as a GED learner himself, and all of that diverse, rich life background that I have heard firsthand from your team, Vicky, is so valued, which is wonderful to see. Another one is Masab, who started a couple of months ago at one of the country's largest tech services providers, Atos. And he was in a similar situation. He had come to the US and actually had a computer science degree, but could not get anyone to give him a chance. and he was working in retail. So he topped up his skills with local study, getting the credential that's important in the States through the GED, but also doing some additional tech training with us, because this is actually a common thing we find, that people will study a tertiary college degree in things like computer science, but the pace of change with technology means they still need to be upskilling with the recent certifications. So he did that with us, stepped into his role, and the feedback has been extraordinary, in the sense that his direct line manager has said, you know, he has the technical skills. He's not the most advanced in our team, but he definitely has the technical skills. But he's running rings around the rest of the people in the team with his customer service. And I love that story, because the customer service that has come from his life experience in retail is making him a really effective service desk technician, in terms of making sure he's meeting the internal needs of his internal customers. And I've spoken to a number of our partner organizations who have said that this is brilliant. They actually make a lot of their technologists go through customer service training, because it's so important that they're able to relate to those individuals, either within their organization or within their own customers. So I think that's a really great example of when you have, you know, the life experience of someone like Musab, who's worked in retail but was not able to get to any level above that, and you couple that with the power of training, and you're able to give someone a really, really fulfilling career. So I will pass you back to Vicky, just in terms of some of the next steps that we might recommend. Over to you, Vicky.
Yeah, thank you. So obviously we've thrown a lot at you in a really short amount of time. And I think the value in all of this, if I could really just simplify it, is that as leaders of organizations that are looking to hire individuals who want a career in technology, what you'll find with a GED learner is individuals who have grit and determination and life skills that come to the table. In what we see is that the GED learner is really invested in employers when they feel invested in themselves. And so as far as next steps, we'd love to talk to all of you as to how we could get you more integrated to looking at GED learners as future hires, and what are the things we could do to help you and your organizations continue to soar, again, utilizing GED learners where it makes sense. So I think next step, Sia, is that we'd love to have a follow-up conversation with each of you, if it makes sense, if this is something that you're interested in, and certainly recognize that there's probably lots of questions out there. So I think we have 2 minutes if we want to open it up for questions, or Sia, do we want to take questions and wait later? What do you think?
If anyone has a burning question, feel free to pop your hand up or speak. But I do know that, yeah, 2 minutes, we may not have enough time to cover. So what we might do, as Vicky said, is just follow up with you directly. I will just echo what Vicky said, in the sense that we've spoken to you a lot today about the potential of bringing technologists into your organization, which really we think is a really great pathway. But if there are any other roles as well that you'd like to consider for a GED graduate, I know Vicky is very open to those conversations. The success of this program and the value that it's delivered to the individual means that we are exploring all kinds of alternate pathways into employers. So feel free to talk to us about that as well. And I would also just say, if you could help us spread the word. I know that you're here today because you care about, you know, doing social good while also delivering on your organizational's objectives, and a lot of the time that's building that all important human capability. So we would love you to share this initiative with anyone who you think it might resonate with, whether that's just through social media or whether it's a direct introduction. So I have just popped up on the screen there a little QR code that you can scan with your phones if you want some more information on the program. But for now, we'll just say thank you so much for coming and for attending. And for those who are watching this back later, thank you also for your time. And we hope you have a wonderful evening ahead. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.